before we go fully into everything. So the first person ever
here in Alabama.
The first person ever was executed by the gas chamber. And you know, we always done heard like, oh man, they gonna put you in. I hope they put you in the gas chamber. I hope they give you the needle. I hope they give you the chair. But we never actually seen somebody get the gas chamber. And I don't even know if we even noticed that nobody ever been gassed to death. We didn't even know that was I didn't even know that was an option. But here it is. It's this guy right here. So we can't always talk about it's about black people or something like that. Because these folks don't give a damn who you is. If your ass ain't got that check, they'll put your ass to death. They don't give a damn. So, you know, at least the first gas chamber person is not a black person. Let's at least give a round of applause to that. You know what I mean? Damn, do I got any hand clapping shit? No? I got to get me some hand clappings over here. I got to download me some hand clapping. Salute Dead Blacks. Salute 421 TV Steady Grinding. Miss Charm Strong +3. So, yeah, this is the first person to ever get executed by what they call nitrogen gas. There's a phrase that they use for it. Let me see. Nitrogen hypoxia? Yeah, it kind of fucked me up the first time I heard it too. The first person to ever get executed by nitrogen hypoxia. Now, there's a such thing as cruel and unusual punishment. And one of the reasons why they always they was trying to take the needle and the electric chair out of the system, because they were saying that it was cruel and unusual punishment. But they described the people who witnessed the death of this guy. A lot of them were saying this shit wasn't too much better. So without me running my mouth too much, I'm gonna let y'all hear the story for yourself, and I'm gonna expound on it a little bit, and then we're gonna keep going forward. But I just thought it was something that we need to think about, because once they started making it easier to kill you, how many more people will start getting put on the death chair or be put to death for whatever their crime is? Now, I agree. If you did something very hideous, something just so despicable, you know, you killed multiple people, you've done something to some kids and then killed some kids and stuff, I agree when it comes to execution. But this dude here has been on death row for 35 years, my people. He been on death row for 35 years. Do you know why they executed this man? They executed this man for killing one person. They executed him for killing one person. He killed the preacher's wife. But he was paid by the preacher to kill the wife. He was a hitman. This man sat on death row for 35 years, was the first person to get the nitrogen gas chamber for only one murder. So how many times will you execute somebody for one murder? If you executed everybody in the country for one murder, do you know that we'll have a non-stop gas chamber going on? If all these, because if this was a young black man, we'll be outraged, right? They were like, oh, why the first person that had to get the gas chamber was a black man? Oh nah, they tried it out on the white man, so y'all niggas can't say shit. So y'all can't talk no shit, cause there ain't nobody gonna say nothing about this white man getting his ass gas. But as soon as a nigga get their ass in there, or as soon as they start throwing niggas in there by the bundle, they might start putting 10, 15 niggas in that chamber all together. All y'all niggas want to gang, bang, bang, all that shit. Get all y'all ass in this goddamn nitrogen chamber. Yeah, that's what it might get to in the future. Because guess how many? You can kill a whole bunch of motherfuckers at one time when you got a gas chamber, right? You only can shoot one nigga up at a time or put one person on the electric chair at a time. But if you got a gas chamber, you can put the whole fucking gang in there, right? Say, what did he do when he killed her? Did he cut her body? Hell, he didn't do the same shit Jeffrey Dahmer did. Shit, Jeffrey Dahmer cooking and eating niggas and shit. Goddamn putting niggas on the pot. How many of these motherfucking child abusers and how many of these molesters and people that done did all kind of weird shit? Matter of fact, even the dude that's in Texas right now that I did the story on a couple of months ago that gouged out both of his eyes. The nigga that ate his eye because he didn't want to get the goddamn electric chair. I mean, at what point do we give people the electric chair? And then what point do we say some people are mentally ill? We've talked about this before. But you notice this little quote that this guy, his name is Kenneth Smith. The guy's name is Kenneth Smith from Alabama. And you know what? While we're probably watching this, should I just put like Wikipedia him and see like the details of his charges? I might just do that. Because I don't think one death, one murder 35 years ago warrants a man to be executed. Especially if you already had him on death row for 35 years. How do you know this man didn't, find God, redeem himself? I've seen people get out on murder charges and they get out and they be a whole new person. There's a lot of niggas on YouTube right now that have murdered people, got out and changed their life. Now, what if you were to put them in a gas chamber? How do you teach our kids that the way to solve a murder is to murder another person? How do you, an eye for an eye, I get where people are saying that type of stuff, but, how do we justify killing somebody, for somebody doing wrong of killing somebody by killing them and say that we're a country under God? It don't really make a lot of sense to me. But this man's final words were, tonight Alabama calls humanity to take a step backwards. And I agree with him. Alabama, we know y'all the city that's behind. The state that's behind. But damn, y'all can't be behind this damn much. But let's check it out, though. Let's check it out. There's a lot of people talking about this story. It's not really in this sector, of course. But let's see some of the stories that were mentioned about this situation, shall we?
Let's get back to the big breaking news we brought you in the last hour. State of Alabama has executed its first prisoner with nitrogen gas. Kenneth Smith was put to death at 8:25 p.m. local time there for the 1988 death of Elizabeth Sennett. This execution marks the first time in the U.S. that the controversial method of nitrogen hypoxia was used. Josh Gaunt from our...
Nitrogen hypoxia. So pretty much nitrogen to pretty much choke your ass out, gas your ass to death with nitrogen.
Fox affiliate in Birmingham, WBRC. He is joining us live now down there from Alabama with more on this execution. Josh.
Yeah, good evening. As you mentioned about an hour ago, Kenneth Smith was pronounced dead by the state of Alabama, as we mentioned, by using nitrogen hypoxia, the first death row in.
Now, you got a good point there, Miss Charmstrong +3. Depending on what side you're on, if he murdered your child or spouse, would you want to preserve his life? If he murdered my child or spouse, of course, as the victim or as the victim family, I'm gonna be so hurt at the time. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, put that nigga to death. But as time go on, 20 years later, I probably like, you know what? Get that man another chance at life. Now, I'm gonna mention something, Miss Charmstrong. My father murdered my mother, cold blood in front of me. Okay. After 20 years in prison, when they hit me up and they say, the parole boys say, what do you think? Your father is coming up for another parole hearing. Did you know what I said, Miss Armstrong? Get a man another chance at life. Give him another chance at life. It's not my decision. I'm not God. Yeah, I was hurt. I'm hurt. It fucked me up. It fucked up the way my life could have been. But I'm not God. It's not my decision to, it shouldn't be up to me or any human to have, you know, somebody else's life in their hand. We all fuck up. Every one of us are capable of taking another man or a woman's life. There's some sick people out here. Now, if he did something like R-worded, chopped the head off, gutted up, that type of stuff, yeah, okay. But we're talking about a murder for hire dude. I mean, because think about it. If we started giving everybody, if we was fair, and everybody that took a human body, took a human soul, if we executed every person that executed somebody, we would pretty much be a genocidal country. Like, we would be killing everybody pretty much. You know what I'm saying? We would, all these young men that are out here shooting and doing this and that, sliding and all that, we would pretty much be executing everybody. Let's just be honest. And we would make a lot of bad decisions because we wouldn't know who was in the self-defense or who wasn't. You say, Earz, I truly get that if your life is at risk, hit just killing because they're playing God. Yeah, I feel like they're just doing it because they want to play God. They got their picks and choose. I believe this guy that this family of the woman that got killed, I believe it was more about who they know. I believe it was more about who they know instead of them punishing him for the act that he did, because he was a hitman. So if you're going to kill him, you need to kill the pastor that hired him. You just want to kill the person that took the money and did the hit. But what about the person that hired him to do the hit?
Inmate here in the country to be executed using this method. According to Corrections Commissioner John Hamm, who spoke to the media just a short time ago, he said there wasn't anything.
I'm going to slide that back just a little bit because I talked my ass off. I'm going to let this thing play almost all the way through. And that way y'all will know fully what's going on without me running my mouth. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm a content creator. Y'all know I'm going to talk.
Alabama has executed its first prisoner with nitrogen gas. Kenneth Smith was put to death at 8:25 p.m. local time there for the 1988 death of Elizabeth Sennett. This execution marks the first time in the U.S. that the controversial method of nitrogen hypoxia was used. Josh Gaunt from our Fox.
Now, I know I said I'm going to shut my damn mouth, but y'all know I was lying. The first time in U.S. history that this method of death has been used. Now, we got to ask ourselves, is it a safe way to use it? Is it, you know, not cruel and unusual punishment? But we got to see what the side effects was.
Affiliate in Birmingham, WBRC. He is joining us live now down there from Alabama with more on this execution. Josh.
Yeah, good evening. As you mentioned about an hour ago, Kenneth Smith was pronounced dead by the state of Alabama, as we mentioned, by using nitrogen hypoxia, the first death row inmate here in the country to be executed using this method. According to Corrections Commissioner John Hamm, who spoke to the media just a short time ago, he said there wasn't anything out of the ordinary that happened here, and he says it took place in his estimation. This execution took place in his estimation according to plan, but he did say that Smith appeared to be holding his breath at the beginning when they started this execution. According to the 5 media witnesses who saw this, they say it appeared Kenneth Smith was conscious for several minutes into this execution. They say
he was conscious for several minutes. Now, that's concerning right there, because we thought that when you're supposed to get like any kind of execution or whatever, they want it to be over as fast as possible, right? Like, you don't want somebody suffering and all that stuff like that. And you would think that somebody getting gas, you would think that, you know, like, as soon as that gas come on, man, let me get up out of here. Why that man gotta sit there and be goddamn gagging and all that shit all that time and all that? Like, it depends, man. I know it's kind of crazy, but I kind of want to see exactly what they're trying to say that, you know, is humane when it comes to that. I kind of want to see, like, did that man die peacefully? Did he just, you know what I'm saying, fall asleep, go away? Or did that man just really show signs of pain and discomfort and all that stuff like that? I mean, I just kind of want to know. I kind of want to know. I ain't gonna lie.
Shook and writhed on the gurney, then eventually took several deep breaths before his breathing started to slow down. As we mentioned, he was pronounced dead a short time later by the state of Alabama at 8:25 Central Time here in Atmore at Holman Correctional Facility. Attorney General for the state of Alabama, Steve Marshall, says this execution proved to be an effective and humane method of execution. Shortly after the Corrections Commissioner spoke to members of the media, we heard from Elizabeth Sennett's family. She was the pastor's wife that was killed back in the late 80s up in North Alabama in a murder for hire plot. Her pastor husband at the time ordered this hit, if you will. Kenneth Smith and another man were caught up in this. According to Alabama law, they are.
So the woman, her husband was the one that hired the hitman. But y'all know we're not going to hear too much about that husband. I definitely noticed that. That's why I got to go look up this case real quick. Once we get done with this, I'm going to see if I can find this case real quick and see if we can get more details about it. I want to know what happened to the husband. Did they give him the equal punishment? I mean, he should be right on the damn death chair with the man, in my opinion. In my opinion, he should be right up there with him. Why are we only talking about one man in the gas chamber? It should have been two of their ass in there. Right?
Sort of just as guilty as being caught, you know, as they were caught up in this whole situation. So that's why he is on death row. According to Elizabeth Sennett's son, Mike, he says that this is a bittersweet day for their family. He says that evil deeds have consequences, and they say that justice has been served for their mother. Once again, Kenneth Smith, the first death row.
So it was really the kids that really wanted to see the death of this man. And, you know, as a young child, they probably witnessed that their mother died. It was 35 years ago, so they were probably kids. And they've been holding in this hurt and pain for all these years. To them, it's bittersweet that a man's life been taken 35 years later. Did y'all not have no forgiveness in y'all heart? I'm just wondering. As you become a 40-year-old man, 50-year-old man, because the family is about to speak. Her son is about to speak. But if you're a Christian family, because, of course, your father was a reverend and your mother was killed by this supposed to be pastor, and y'all result to somebody being a human and making a human mistake is to play God and kill them.
Inmate in the country executed by nitrogen hypoxia by the state of Alabama here at Holman Correctional. That happened around 8:25 Central Time here in Alabama. We'll send it back to you.
Josh, I do have to ask, were you part of the media witnesses that saw this entire execution go down? And can you describe what that was like? It must be very difficult to watch someone be put to death, right?
Yeah, it got to be very disturbing to watch somebody be put to death. But you could bet your bottom dollar that these motherfuckers sat right there. These motherfuckers right here sat right there and watched that man die. Somebody that ain't never did nothing to you, they're like, oh, I got to see this. I got to see this. I got to see this man get killed. Man, you could have sat outside the room and just waited for it to be done. But this is the evil that we live with every day. People act like they live under God, but they want to see somebody lose their life. Yeah, that man was dead ass wrong for killing that woman all those years back. He was dead ass wrong, but he made a mistake. He's in prison for 35 years. You could have gave the man 10 more. Like, if the man would have did 45 years in prison, is that not what he deserved? I mean, come on. You could have gave the man 55 years. Damn. 55 years in prison. Come on, man. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, Unity. Sorry to hear that, man. it's always losing a friend, man. I've had to see a couple of people die, and it's not. It changes your life. It does. It changes your mindset. It changes your life. Condolences to you, though, Unity.
Right before your eyes.
Yeah, I wasn't a part of the media witness team this go around. I have witnessed 2 lethal injections, and yes, it.
What? So it's part of your job just to go around and watch lethal injections and people get put to death. Do y'all see these people that they be putting in front of us? Yeah, I've witnessed 2 lethal injections and yeah, it ain't nothing fun. I bet it ain't. Damn that shit. Don't send, if I'm a reporter, don't be sending me to no motherfucking lethal injection. The fuck? I don't want to see that shit. Damn, that's sad to hear, Unity. Life is short, man. Life is short.
It is trying to put into words here what that feeling is like, but you were watching the state put someone to death. Now, we haven't spoke to those media witnesses other than they did give a pool report after the corrections commissioner spoke, and they sort of described, what they saw. There are some interesting things I took from that pool report when they said that, he shook and writhed on the gurney. Then he eventually took several deep breaths. But according to the corrections commissioner, those were involuntary. So in other words, those were expected according to the corrections commissioner. I did ask him, because the execution protocol here in Alabama is so secretive, it looks like a CIA document. It is so redacted. Legal experts say it's redacted in some of the most important places. But it talks about how this process is supposed.
Now, why would they redact a lot of the stuff that happened in that room? We already know why. We know why they redacted a lot of information that got put out about what the results of what happened. We're gonna see how many times they use this method of death. We got to keep in track how many times they use this method of death in the future.
To go. The state initially said that he would fall unconscious within seconds and then dead within minutes. But in this particular case, according to the media witnesses here,
so he was supposed to fall unconscious within seconds and be dead within minutes. This was supposed to be painless. But now they're saying, man, this man ain't go out like that. They said he was going to go out. The man started rocking back and forth. He started, doing all kind of weird shit. That's showing you that this is cruel and unusual punishment. This ain't what y'all thought it was going to be. He was just supposed to, the gas supposed to come on. He was just supposed to fall asleep and be dead. Hell, I'm cool with dying like that. But, having a man suffer for minutes and minutes and minutes on until he dies, I mean.
Initial step took several minutes. So there are still, questions here. There are a lot of questions going into this execution.
Let me rewind that back a little bit.
Like Kim, because the execution protocol here in Alabama is so secretive, it looks like a CIA document. It is so redacted. Legal experts say it's redacted in some of the most important places. But it talks about how this process is supposed to go. The state initially said that it could, he would fall unconscious within seconds and then dead within minutes. But in this particular case, according to the media witnesses here, that initial step took several minutes. So there are still, questions here. There are a lot of questions going into this execution. There are a lot of questions going out. But as I mentioned, I did ask Corrections Commissioner John Hamm about, how did they prepare for this execution? How did they test this nitrogen hypoxia method? And he did not answer that question. Of course, we will continue to push for answers as it relates to this method of execution, which more inmates could choose to use here in the future.
Josh, just kind of piggybacking off of this last answer that you gave, can you provide some context to our viewers as to how we got to this point? This is the first inmate, as you've been mentioning, that was executed by nitrogen gas, and this is after that failed execution already happened once before.
Oh shit, I didn't catch this part, y'all. So they actually tried this before and it failed. Now, we never heard about the failed attempt before. I wonder if they're gonna talk about what happened when it failed. Did that person just sit there and be sick as a motherfucker? Did he throw up? Did he die from the aftermath? What happened? I'm curious now. Y'all shouldn't have brought that up, because I want to know what the hell happened now. You're telling me y'all done tried this one time before and it failed. What was the results then? How did y'all execute that man afterwards? Or did y'all execute him afterwards? Or what was his side effects afterwards? And why would y'all try it again if it failed before? There's a lot of questions to be asked now. And if y'all look, there's a lot of stories about this right now, y'all. There's a lot of stories about this. Why has the U.S. executed a man for using nitrogen gas? Like, there's a lot of breaking news about this. I've seen this all on my timeline this morning.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's important to note here that he actually requested nitrogen hypoxia at the time that shortly after he received the death sentence. So he requested this, but...
Okay, so he requested it. He probably didn't know the details of it, but you can request how you want to die. Imagine that, y'all. Being on death row, and you doing your time, they bring you a form like, yeah, nigga, how you want to die? Check a box. You got lethal injection. We got the chair. I don't know. Maybe they put the guillotine on that motherfucker. Maybe they put a 21 gun salute. I was just like, man, why don't y'all just goddamn give me candy every day and I just die of diabetes or a stroke? Like, give me some greasy food or some shit. Just so you know, Earz still got your 6, bro. You good. Just wanted to remind you that's the reason I stay away, because of craziness. You cool in my book. Oh yeah, you good, Unity. You don't hear me like, oh, where Unity at? You know what I'm saying? I know you, man. I know you got my back, man. I know you support me, man. And I know it's a lot of bullshit. I seen you on Sister T, man, expressing how you tired of these bitches fucking with you. I don't blame you, man. Fuck them bitches. You know. But protect your energy, man. Don't let these YouTube motherfuckers get all under your skin, man. That's what I'm doing right now, man. I know y'all like to hear me talking my bullshit. I like to talk bullshit sometimes, but I'm not a dude that love to talk about people all the time. I like to talk about ideas. You know what I mean? I like to talk about news. I like to expound over stuff. I'm a little different than most of these people over here in this sector. I didn't come over here in this sector. Contrary to the belief, I didn't come over here to this sector to be arguing with motherfuckers all the damn time. I came over here to defend myself, of course, and, you know, tried to do something that I thought was the right thing. But I damn sure didn't come over here to argue with niggas day in and day out. I ain't come over here to have people trying to attack my family and all that stuff like that. You know, I came over to have a little fun. Let's find out what's going on in the world. Let's have news from a perspective of the average man. You know, I came to share my trade with people. I came to share my ideas with people, to network, stuff like that. I didn't come over here to argue, fight, and pull down every black person I possibly can. That ain't my MO. Salute Johnny Lee. And Johnny Lee know me personally, man. He know I ain't never been a person that's about consistent drama and arguing with niggas and all that fuck shit. Johnny Lee know me my whole life. That nigga know I've been all about action my whole life. All about action. I don't do a whole bunch of talking. The most talking I've ever done was on this motherfucking YouTube platform. That's because I don't take none of these niggas seriously. And I'm in a different place in my life right now from where I used to be at. All right, salute Dead Blacks. Hey man, catch the replay, man. We're gonna catch this Mike Epps stand-up comedy special in a minute. They can lovely lace. There you go. I see you.
As you mentioned, there was a failed execution back in 2022. I was here for that, and it took ADOC several hours to be able to do this. They say they ran out of time. At that point, the death warrant expired at midnight.
What? Hold up. What in the hold up?
I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Did this man say he was there for the last execution that did not work? So when they tried to suffocate the last person that they did with this, it took several hours. It took several hours. So this man had to suffer all those hours. Hold on, let me slide that back just a little. You can't just slide past that real quick. What's your name, buddy? What the hell is this dude's name? I don't know what your name is, buddy. But shit, you can't just slide by that.
You mentioned there was a failed execution back in 2022. I was here for that, and it took ADOC several hours to be able to do this. They say they ran out of time. At that point, the death warrant expired at midnight.
The death warrant expired at midnight because it took them several hours. Talk about the luckiest motherfucking death row inmate in the world. Nigga, you expecting to die tonight, but these dumbass, Bama-ass motherfuckers can't get the dope right. So you end up just getting to live because they couldn't put you to sleep. They couldn't do what they supposed to do. So the death row inmate end up getting an extension on his life. Ain't that some shit? I would be mad as a motherfucker. Cause I probably done did some shit before I came in there. I probably done fucking flooded my room, done, took a shit, probably done jacked off 20 times. All kind of shit. Now y'all got me in here trying to kill me, and then now you done changed your damn mind. Nigga, I done made my peace. How the fuck I supposed to come back to reality after I done made my peace about dying? And y'all can't kill me. That's wild.
Now the execution protocols say that these executions go until 6 a.m. So they were working up against the clock back then. They were able to set one IV line, but they cannot set a second IV line during his first initial execution attempt. That was called off. Of course, that was 2 or 3 failed executions at that point. The state of Alabama then did an internal review of the process. A lot of people say that review should have been independent, but it was a state review of execution procedures. And then essentially they brought in a team to do the next 2 executions, and there were not any issues, according to the corrections commissioner.
Man, they just killing motherfuckers back to back in Alabama. What? The next 2? Like, y'all just got these shits lined up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? We're gonna kill a motherfucker every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. How many people on death row in Alabama? Shit. Salute, Mika.
And then shortly after that is when they set the death execution date for Kenneth Smith. And then tonight, we're here now where the state of Alabama.
Yeah, it was kind of a experiment, Lovelace, but it was definitely an execution. He's the first person to actually die from it. The first one was the experiment, and it didn't work. And, because you choose the way that you want to die. The graveyard behind the jail. Lady Earz sent me a situation with a graveyard behind a jail in Mississippi also. I need to cover that. 90,000 men and women missing in Cleveland, Ohio. Scrap up. Don't talk to people you don't know. I just left Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, man. Hey, and they kind of quiet about that too. They kind of quiet about it. Oh, you said the first was lethal injection? It sounds like it because they're talking about how they had to set another IV.
Finally carrying out this nitrogen hypoxia execution. According to the state, it appears everything in their estimation went according to plan.
Josh, we aired the press conference that featured some statements from the victim's family as well as from officials with the Department of Corrections. But did you get to hear anything from Kenneth's family? What are they saying about this whole ordeal?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything from them. They were here to witness this execution, but we only heard from Elizabeth Sennett's family after the corrections commissioner spoke. And as I said earlier, they said it's a bittersweet day for them. They've been waiting 35 years for justice, saying that evil deeds have consequences and that justice has been served for their mother. But as it relates to Kenneth Smith, we haven't heard anything yet from his family. We understand his spiritual advisor and some other folks are holding a press conference.
So this man being locked up for 35 years wasn't enough justice? I don't get that.
Either right now or in the next few minutes. And so we may get to hear from some of them there, but so far.
164 people on death row? Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Alabama don't give a fuck, boy. 164 people on death row in Alabama right now. I appreciate that, G-Mac, for looking that up for me. That's amazing.
Nothing from.
If you put all those people in one building, you be like, damn. But and if you think about it, if there's more than 10 people in there for just one murder, I mean just one murder. I'm not saying any murders is good, but one life, and you're making the state taxpayers pay 35, 40 years of taxes for you to hold somebody on death row, when you could have just let their ass sit in there for another 10 years, they'll die. Shit. Hell, you could save everybody some money just putting their ass in the right room. I mean, if y'all feel that type of way. But I don't think everybody that committed a murder can't be redeemed. I mean, it's unfortunate, don't get me wrong. But sitting around here playing God while y'all talking about you under the nation of God, that just don't sit right with me.
Kenneth Smith's family.
All right, and we'll be looking toward that here at Live Now from Fox. Josh, just finally, this entire case has garnered national attention because of the method of execution. Have you ever covered something?
Oh, I'm pretty sure every one of them committed murder, Still J. You ain't getting on death row without committing murder. It matter what you did. 78 black men and 78 white men. Hey, at least they keeping it balanced, though. At least, you know, at least it's a balance. But I know I know the people that didn't put on death row. I bet they ain't put none of that Ku Klux Klan on death row. I can guarantee you that. I bet them Klan members that threw them damn bombs in that church in Montgomery, Alabama, that killed them little girls, I bet they ain't on death row. Stop playing. They pick and choose who the fuck they want to put on death row. They'll put this white man on there for killing a damn preacher wife, because he got hired for a hit. But those punk son of a bitches that threw them bombs in that church and killed those little black girls, yeah, I bet they wasn't on death row. Alabama got their motherfucking priorities fucked up. Just thinking about that shit.
Something like this.
No, to be honest, I haven't. You know, as I mentioned earlier, there were a lot of questions going into this. There are still a lot of questions going out of this. Some of Kenneth Smith's attorneys and some of his other team said, you know, this method was untested, it's unproven, and they felt like it could amount to cruel and unusual punishment. And they were hoping that the state of Alabama, hoping the U.S. Supreme Court would give them a reprieve here, but that did not happen. The Supreme Court denied 2 stays of execution here. Earlier today, the court denied one. From a previous case, a federal judge said that this execution can proceed. So then Kenneth Smith and his legal team appealed that to the 11th Circuit. The 11th Circuit said that this execution can proceed. So then again...
These people had some power in politics. That's what this is telling me. Because this man keep appealing like, okay, I only murdered one person. I get it. I understand. I murdered somebody. But damn.
A last-ditch effort here, an 11th hour effort by Kenneth Smith and his team. They appealed it to the U.S. Supreme Court, but later on, a little earlier this evening, right before 7 o'clock, is when we got word that the Supreme Court denied that stay of execution.
Josh Gaunt down there with our Fox affiliate in Birmingham, Alabama, WBRC. We appreciate your time and giving us context on this big national breaking news story. We'll talk again.
Okay, so that was that. Now let's go to where the family came up, and let's see what they had to say about it. And this was the press conference about it.
Everybody is coming in. Good evening. Everybody's ready.
And I'm going over this part because I just like to hear Alabama people talk. This shit funny as hell to me. Hey, if y'all want to hear some good old-fashioned Alabama talk, y'all want to hear about Susie Bell, we about to hear some funny-ass Alabama talk, y'all.
Again, John Hammond, Alabama Department of Corrections, by order of the Alabama Supreme Court at 7:53 Central Time tonight. The state of Alabama started carrying out the execution of Kenneth Eugene Smith by nitrogen hypoxia at the William C. Holman Correctional Facility in Smith was executed for the 1988 capital murder of Elizabeth Dorleen Sennett in Colbert County. Please confer with the media witnesses for Smith's last words. Smith was pronounced deceased by physicians at 8:25 p.m. Central Standard Time.
And I'm tell y'all, man, I'm so glad this first person that got executed by this in this kind of way, I'm so glad it's not a black person. Because black people, we would be so riled up right now about something that, not really, it's serious, but we would have made it a race thing instead of an issue about cruel and unusual punishment. If this was a black person, this would be all over YouTube right now. We would make a huge deal about this. Nitrogen asphyxiation. I think I'm saying that right. Nitrogen asphyxiation. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. I'll let him say it a couple of times.
The victim's family will certainly address the media here in a minute, but I wanted to go ahead and open it up for questions for y'all.
Commissioner.
Now watch how Alabama, whenever they wrong about something, they will run around the bush with that shit. They just won't answer you. They feel like they're above the law. Now watch how he dodged a lot of real serious questions.
Mr. Smith appeared to shake and ride on the gurney for at least 2 minutes at the start of the execution. Was that expected, and what do you think that meant? Was that suffering in your view?
Now that was a good question because according to them, everything went the way it was supposed to go. The man was supposed to be unconscious within seconds and then die within minutes. But the question that this lady asked, it seemed like this man was conscious for several minutes. That ain't the way it was supposed to go, but y'all telling us it went perfect. Explain yourself, sir. Now let's hear the bullshit explanation.
Of course, Kim, appeared that Smith was holding his breath as long as he could, and then there's also information out there he struggled against his restraints a little bit, but there's some involuntary movement and some agonal breathing, so that was all expected and is in the side effects that we've seen or researched on nitrogen hypoxia. So nothing was out of the ordinary what we were expecting.
You think it was involuntary?
Yes. Yes,
after the Supreme Court allowed the execution to go forward and media witnesses were transferred over, we waited for about 45 minutes before we were taken into the chamber. What was the delay there?
The delay we had was hooking, well, not hooking up, but the EKG lines, where we're making sure we got a good reading on those. There was a little hiccup on the EKG lines providing a good reading. So that's... That was for the delay to make sure we got a good reading.
Was the hiccup due to him cooperating, not cooperating?
Oh yeah, there was no information that he was not cooperating with that.
Can you say approximately how long the nitrogen was flowing?
I think it was around 15 minutes. I have to get some precise times on that, but it seemed about 15 minutes, and y'all seen our redacted protocol on the two time frames, either 15 minutes or 5 minutes past flat line. So we were within those protocols.
He appeared conscious for the first several minutes. Do you agree with that? The Attorney General's office in court filings said they thought that nitrogen would cause a lack of consciousness within seconds.
I don't know, I couldn't really see his face from where I was sitting. Y'all might have had a better view of that.
What?
So all of a sudden you didn't see it. How convenient for him to not see it because he got to answer this question. How convenient was it for him to not to see it? Oh, maybe y'all can see it better. Boy, get the fuck out of here.
Boy, if you don't get your chicken-eating, watermelon-munching, corn-chip-smelling, black hole-looking, Kool-Aid drinking, eat-the-bone-cracking afro, having cotton-picking Jordan 4s wearing thug life, having Call of Duty playing anime, watching basketball bouncing line up, having ass-up goofy-ass monkey.
Yeah, that apply for you, sir.
Any plans to implement this method for future inmates on death row?
That's not our, this is the state law for the state of Alabama that nitrogen epoxy is one of the 3 methods of execution. So if the inmates choose it, then that's the method we will use. So it's not whether we're implementing or not, it's a state law of Alabama. So right now,
Test nitrogen epoxy before this execution. How did y'all test?
So right now I would like.
He just ignored that dude's question. He like, yeah, right now, fuck that shit you just talking about. He just totally ignored the damn man question. Boy, them Alabama folks, boy, you don't want to get fucked up in Alabama. I ain't lying.
You can't answer that?
The victim's family to come make a statement.
He said you can't answer that. He looked dead at the man like, the victim family come make a statement. I feel like this is going to be a better way to just get everybody to shut the fuck up. We don't give a damn if it was a cruel and unusual punishment. We got some justice for some good white people. Y'all should be happy. Oh shit, here come Bubba. But this is the typical Alabama Bubba right here.
Good evening. Some of you that have talked with us today and through the week, some of this may be a little repetitive, but to my left is my wife Kim. My name's Mike.
It's always a motherfucking Mike. I could have guessed it was Mike or Bubba. Yeah, my name's Mike. Here's my wife Sue. This is my brother Jim. That's Jeremy back there. That's Joel, and we got little Bobby.
Senate. I have my brother Chuck.
And my brother Chuck. My daughter Amy. I know this is a family and grieving, but y'all can't help but laugh at these Alabama accents, man.
To my left is my wife Kim. My name's Mike. Senate. I have my brother Chuck, his wife Pam here.
Right, Pam.
And others, friends.
Other friends, Bully Joel, Susie.
We want to take a minute to thank everybody that has supported us through this time.
Salute Tanya 52. Y'all can't tell me this shit ain't funny. This is Billy Bob. We got Pam, my wife Pam, my brother Tom. I'm Mike.
Friends, family members, and others, thank you very much for the prayers, comments, texts, and so forth. We want to give a special shout out to a few people.
What?
How the fuck you get up here at somebody's execution talking about you want to give shout outs? But he worse than a nigga at this point. Let me give a shout out to my cat and my dog. I'm gonna give a shout out to my great niece, Susie Ann.
Ronnie May, the former sheriff of Colbert County, was on the case from the beginning, and they did a great job. We want to thank Abby and Dasha.
And we don't take kindly to your kind around here.
From NBC Now. They were the first to contact us about this story, and we kept with just one national news media, and they were the ones that we went with, and they did a fabulous job. Super nice. So thank you for that. Nothing happened here today is going to bring Mom back. Nothing. It's kind of a bittersweet day. We're not going to be jumping around, hooping and hollering, hooray and all that.
Stop your motherfucking line. That's exactly what you're going to be doing. Hold up, y'all. That's exactly what y'all going to be doing. Y'all going to go home. Y'all going to motherfucking gut a pig. Y'all gonna motherfucker dance around. You gonna fuck your sister.
But we're glad this day is over. All three of the people involved in this case years ago, we have forgiven them. Not
how you forgiving them, but you over here approving of the execution, because they would have let this man live if you would have said, hey, we forgive him. It ain't that big of a deal. Well, it's a big deal, but you know, in our hearts, we don't want to be responsible for the death of anybody. I hate these fucking fake God-loving Christian motherfuckers. If you's a God-loving motherfucker, you don't. It's not your job to play God. Let them lock the man up. He could die of natural causes.
Today,
salute, Teran.
But we have in the past. Some people may not believe that. You know, how do you forgive somebody? Well, if we're to be more Christ-like, try to live his teachings and stuff, he forgave the ones on the cross, right? The thieves.
Now, how convenient is that for them to use Christ and Jesus? Yeah, if we're going to be more Christ-like, we should be more forgiving. So we forgive the bastard, but we still want his ass dead. Do y'all hear this shit? Mike, we don't believe you, motherfucker. That's why I'm saying I'm glad this wasn't a black dude, because we would have swore that Mike was a racist motherfucker. Mike just ain't shit altogether. Mike is a ugly ass white one. Yeah, they just ain't shit. But we would have swore this was just the racist shit in the world if the dude that they just executed would have been black.
Give somebody, well, if we're to be more Christ-like.
Hold on, I'm gonna wind this back a little bit, because I can't believe he just said what he just said. Because he thinking what we thinking. That's why he said, yeah, I know a lot of people like, why, you know, if we're gonna, hold on, let me let him say it.
Mom back. Nothing. It's kind of a bittersweet day. We're not going to be jumping around, hooping and hollering, hooray and all that. That's not us. But we're glad this day is over. All three of the people involved in this case years ago, we have forgiven them. Not today, but we have in the past. Some people may not believe that, you know.
I don't believe that. I'm some people.
How do you forgive somebody? Well,
you forgive people by saying, you know, I don't want to do God's work. I forgive that man, give him a second chance at life. Or just let his ass sit there and rot.
If we're to be more Christ-like, try to live his teachings and stuff, he forgave the ones on the cross, right? The thieves. And if I'm trying to live my life like him, it's my duty, and it's weight off my shoulders. I forgive them. I forgive them for what they done. I don't like what they done from us. You know, the Bible says that evil deeds has consequences.
Boy, if you bring that Bible up one more damn time after you just sat right here and approved of the man getting executed in this inhumane way, I know something.
And Kenneth Smith made some bad decisions 35 years ago, and his debt was paid tonight. Some of you may have heard us talk about, you know, over and over about 35 years. Kenneth Smith, Parker, Williams not so much because he died in the system, I think in 2020, something like that.
He died on his own. That's the same way y'all could have let this man die.
But Parker and Smith have been incarcerated almost twice as long as I knew my mom. Think about that a minute.
Think about that a minute. All right, we thought about that, sir. We thought about it. It doesn't justify what's going on right now.
I guess I'll end by saying that Elizabeth Dorleen, Thorne Senate, got her justice tonight. Thank you.
That ends the presser. I'll give y'all a good hour to get with the pool media witnesses and get their...
So that's the bullshit. That's the bullshit. And before we get finished with this topic, I want to play one more situation, one more highlight, because there was a dude that made a valid point, and I want to highlight that. I want to highlight that real quick.
It's a death day, an execution day. I mean, it's it's a death day, an execution day, and it's just horrible. I mean, every time one of these executions happen, it's horrible. You know, I think that it's important to point out that this is a day in which nobody wins. It's a sad, awful day for everyone, no matter what your perspective is. But I think that this is particularly horrific in that we're going to be conducting a human experiment for the first time. We're going to be legally suffocating someone.
Now, this is before the actual execution. This is the spiritual advisor, you know, and he's talking about we're going to be legally executing someone, legally suffocating someone in the name of justice for a murder. So you don't have one murder, you have two murders. How does two murders make one murder better? It don't make sense.
And I think that it is absolutely horrifying to think that Kenny is going to go through that. It's horrifying to think that any human being is going to be put through that. And it's also horrifying to me to think here is someone who is a dear friend of mine and having to watch them go through that. I mean, this is suffocation. This is, it seems like with every new method of execution, we go to a more dehumanizing level. Of course, execution in and of itself is dehumanizing. And so I think that one of the fears that I have is if this is successful, it is going to unleash a whole plethora of these dehumanizing moments.
Exactly. Exactly. If this thing is successful, it's going to open the door for a whole bunch of execution moments. Oh, we can kill people by just suffocating them through a gas chamber? So when will they start just putting mass people in that gas chamber and executing them? That's why I say I'm glad this first person wasn't a black person, but we can expect a lot of black people to come behind that.
I think it's also important to say that every time we commit a murder, every time we commit an execution, what we're telling our society is that murder and execution is okay.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
You cannot teach the young people of our society not to kill people by killing people. And
this boy dropping bombs, y'all. He dropping bombs. You cannot teach a society by killing people, but killing people for killing people is the right thing to do.
And so it is my concern that if this is successful and if this expands, we are also going to see an expansion of violence in our country.